Good afternoon, adventurers. It's Friday, and yep, you know it. It's time for John's Dungeon Corner. Last week, we snuck away to New York, so we didn't have a show. But boy, we got a show tonight. Today. So coming to you right from the Collective in Altamont Springs, Florida. Here we are, John's Dungeon Corner. Ooh, and we got some good stuff. Wait till you see. In fact, we're going to start the show just kind of showing you.
The first reveal.
Look at this. Oh, let's take it up there real close so I think it actually see this craziness.
This
now
one
that is an astro. What is that one called?
Neolithic.
The Neolithic.
Yes.
This is
You can move
amazing.
these things.
He comes from the Monsters of the Multiverse.
Look, it comes out so you can go ahead and move it around.
Look at that.
too.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. So
Or so you can stuff a gnome in there.
stuff a gnome. So that ain't right.
You can do that, but these things go in there.
Yeah.
Where'd the party gnome go?
Oh, hey.
Anyhow.
Laser Stain, how are you? Welcome to the show. But yeah, isn't that cool? I mean, it is a big mamma jamma. It will definitely set some terror into those characters. Look at that thing.
Hey, there's some things we need to talk about too.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of
besides
crazy.
we got some magic. We got like an RCQ going on tomorrow. We got things like that. We've got another.
What do we got?
The neat thing coming up on our Extra Life weekend.
Okay, Extra Life weekend. What do we got?
November 5th and 6th.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to open up Saturday, November 5th at 10 o'clock. And we're not going to close until 6 o'clock Sunday night.
Okay, so say it again. Check this out. You got to check this out. This is great.
33 hours of being open this
Woo!
game. So, I mean, we're going to be open all night. So, if you're looking for that Twilight Imperium game, if you're looking for that, any of the other games that take forever, Star Wars Rebellion, you can stop and play and go on. And that night, we're also doing.
Well, here's the reveal, the second reveal.
Yes. We're going
Dungeons and Dragons Massive Melee.
We are going to put 4 tables together.
4.
Not the little tables, 4 big tables
4.
together. We are going to run the massive goblin insurgents there.
Yep, we have got
gonna be
a
the one.
massive.
We're going to be running that Saturday night, probably starting at 6, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Depending
about
on
6
what
or
your
7.
schedule looks at.
I'll update you as we get closer to it. Probably by the end of before Halloween, I'll start throwing out the actual time. Maybe 7 o'clock, 7:30ish. But it's going to go probably about a good 4 or 5 hours.
Yes. And it's also that
So,
same night is
bring your tents.
It is daylight savings time, so we're going to have an extra hour.
Oh
which
my
makes
gosh.
it not 32 hours of gaming,
33
hours of gaming. It's
Woo!
like a bonus hour.
My gosh, that's so crazy. You got the
So,
bonus hour coming
Much
in.
more details on that as we get closer.
For
Hold
sure.
on. I got to get something for you.
Oh, wait, there's something else coming. So anyway, I was talking about, went to the Ren Fair and up in New York and had a real good time with the family. We do that kind of thing. We don't just play Dungeons and Dragons. We do all kinds of wonderful things together. It was a lot of fun. We immersed ourselves in the medieval times and saw some good shows and bought a couple things. And it was just a lot of fun. You kind of, Dungeons and Dragons is really neat, but then you kind of immerse yourself in that. And you're like, wow, this was a lot of fun. And we do Ren Fairs. I've been to Pennsylvania. We, as a family, as a group, as our adventuring party, as I like to call it, we've been to Pennsylvania. We've been to Georgia, Tennessee, Maryland, all those Ren Fairs. And, of course, we've been to Atlanta on several occasions. I love Atlanta. The Atlanta Ren Fair is a lot of fun. And in Florida, there's about a good 7 or 8 of them. Some are multiple weekends, like a couple months running, 6 to 9 weeks. Some are only a couple weeks. Some are 3 or 4 weeks. But they're all, the one thing they have in common is that they're a lot of fun. Small or large, go and check them out. It's a great time to be had. Grab a couple friends, family members, and build your own adventuring group. You walk around, people take pictures of you in your costumes and stuff. You dress up as elves. I've seen people dress up as orcs. Knights and witches and warlocks, and oh my gosh, it's so cool. It's a lot of fun we did have. So that's that. Now, so I am going to go over a couple things that have come back into stock because it's always good when we get restocks. So I brought out some of my favorite map boards. These are the Pathfinder map boards, the flip mats. Let me go with the basic one. If you just want a couple map boards, we got these out. These are the basic flip map boards. They come with the essentially like a dungeon tile one. It's a dungeon room, and a kind of like an outdoorsy one. It's like a grass. It's really nice. You just flip it over. And the size on these, I believe, are 24 by 30. So it's a nice 2 foot by 2.5 foot mat board that you can put down on any table and play. I really like these. There are a lot of, I have many of them. You can't have enough of them. Now, kind of going up a little bit from there, you got the basic terrain multi-pack flip mats, okay? And these are also 24 by 30, but there's basically 4 sides. You've got, what do we got here? We got the more like a dungeon city terrain. We've got a grassland terrain. We've got kind of like a bluish, here we go. Grassland, stone, floor, street, and water. Grassland, stone, floor, street, and water. So there we go. Really nice. It's a multi-pack, very reasonably priced. You get 2 for less than the price of 2 of these here. Is that right? That is correct. You save a couple dollars when you do the multi-pack. And last but not least, this is one which I have not gotten yet because it ran out. But this is they call it the multi-pack, but it has a burnt out, this is what it's called, a burnt out crypt. Hello, my love. My wife is on, as always. She's always very supportive. And you got here just in time, love. We're talking about the multi-packs. I talked to everybody about the Ren Fair. It was a lot of fun. But we've got a burnt out crypt. We've got a ruined temple, a wizard's tower, and Arcanus astronomer's subterranean workshop. So these are also 24 by 30. Okay. They start as a little 8 by 10s and then they turn into those big, they fold out into 24 by 30. These are really neat. That's kind of, come on down and take a look at them if you want a better look at them. And these are awesome. I use these extensively. They're great to just throw down if you want to represent a dungeon. You can draw it with wet or dry erase. It's fantastic. Wipes right off. The characters have a good time with it. If you just want to throw them, sometimes, to be honest with you, I just let them fold it in half. I put them down and just use it as a room. You know, when they run into a big room, or I fold it back up into a smaller room like such, an 8 by, basically 8 squares, half is a 40 by 50 room is what it will fold up to. But it's really nice. They're really good. I love those things. Then the other thing I wanted to talk about is we also got a restock of the Game Master terrain sets. These are amazing. These are the Dungeons and Caverns core set. This is the one that I told you about. We didn't have the master set where you can actually create your own dungeons, your own tiles from styrofoam. And it shows you piece by piece how to do it. This is really neat. It has everything that you need to get started and to put it together. Okay. So you can build tiles, you can build rooms, stairs. I mean, there's just all kinds of cool stuff. Has paints for painting them, the brushes, the foam cutters, the sand, everything's included in here, plus some sheets to get you going. So it's really nice. All right. And then also got a restock of the ruins and cliffs. Kind of shows you how to make ruins, some cliffs to go with the other sets. So there's a lot of good stuff here. All right, we talked about the space worm. One of the I think it's from space. The monster in the multiverse. The Neothelid. Very cool. Very cool it is. So yes. Now, of course, John's Dungeon Corner. I forgot to put my little thing out, but it's John's DC 2021 at gmail.com. I'll say that a couple times. If you ever have a question about Dungeons and Dragons, feel free to send me an email there and say, hey, here's my question. Okay. I try to answer them all. And these I'm going to kind of try to answer because they all kind of, remember I kept telling you I'm trying to mass maybe 2 or 3 questions so I can kind of talk about them. I've done this a couple times. So here's the question. What happens to a player if their character dies? That's basically the first question that I was asked. So that's a very good question. A lot of characters in the earlier, not a lot, but it's rare to see it. It depends on how the game is going and that. But it's earlier to die. You see it a lot more often in the earlier levels. So when you're usually about first through third, you just run into a bad trap. You just bad roll the dice. You roll. You roll a 1, and it happened. And it actually happened to a character that just started in one of my games that I was running here on Wednesday. First level, and nothing, just misfortune. Got hit a couple times. Oh, cool. Old school. Oh, my God. Laser stand. There's no forgiveness there. Oh, we're going to interrupt this broadcast because there's a red dragon present. Look at this.
He's a sizable red dragon.
This is gorgeous. He is big. Look at this.
He is. Big wings.
Look at that. Tail. That is red dragon.
It's like, how did your dragon hit me from 25 feet away? Well, let me put the visual on there and you'll figure it out. Yeah. He can hit you from 50 feet away. So.
Look at that, huh? Isn't that gorgeous?
And we put a picture up there of him and that, but I don't think the pictures or even on film really catches this guy quite.
No, I'm telling you, a lot of this stuff you want to come in and see. That's perfect right there. Oh, yeah. That's beautiful right there. You got to come in and really see these to appreciate them because the miniatures, there's so much detail in them. That you really can't capture, not even in a photo. It's something that you want to see and hold in that weight of that dragon. Whoo!
Yeah, he's a nice piece.
Yes, he is. 2 nice pieces here. Yep. So come in and check them out. And granted, there are more pieces out there. Black dragons, green dragons, there's blue dragons. There's all kinds of wonderful dragons and giants and all kinds of nice miniatures for you to kind of look at and purview. Preview, is that what the word is? Peruse. Anyway, so getting back to the death. A laser stand, that's just, those are the old school hardcore rules where if you die, you die. But what happens? Okay, so let's say you roll 1, bow. That's 2 deaths, and then you miss your last one. You roll a 3. Oh, man, my character's dead. So there's a couple things that can happen. Because this kind of goes with some of the other questions. Well, what do I do for the rest of the session? What do I get to play anymore? Can I join the group again as another character? A lot of that is on a game master basis. But let's say that your character dies for whatever reason. You can come back as an NPC for the rest of the game. Maybe they find there's a couple ways of doing it. You can come back as an NPC, help the game master run. You kind of see the backside of things. Behind the curtain kind of thing. You can create another character that can be found as the adventure goes. Your character, if you really, really, really like the character, rename him. He can join the group late. There's instances, like I said, where like in one of the modules, when my characters come in late or a character gets done with they're creating their character and they're a little behind, I'll just insert them as they're captured, or maybe it was part of I always lead the beginning of my adventure with something like, well, remember that there were several parties that have gone on before you. Maybe you guys can find some of the captives, or if they're dead, you kind of find out what happened to them, find their bodies, return them, whatever. So I always kind of put that out there as I need to insert a character later on whenever he's ready, putting them together, kind of thing. Or someone's coming late. You can just say they're with the party. Sometimes you can just let them go with the party and say, hey, you can finish your character as you go, work on them. If they're experienced at creating characters. If it's a new character, they haven't played D&D, the most logical thing for me to do is to say, okay, most of the time, unless it's something crazy and the character, because some players don't care if their characters die. So you can just leave them dead, let him come back as something else. Maybe he's already got a pre-gen. Some of the deaths are already pre-planned. That has happened in games, by the way, where a person wants to change their character to something else. DM says it's okay, so they find a cool way of killing them. They're a hero. Maybe they find the pit, trap, some cool way that they died. Now, along with that, so I kind of answered that with, can they rejoin the party with a new character, or can they just continue on with their character? Resurrection spells. Okay, guys, let me tell you about resurrection spells. You have to be a pretty high level character to cast it. Cleric, usually. And it's very expensive. It's an expensive thing. So most unlikely, until you're up a level, and if your party has been adventuring for a while in that, you're not just going to find somebody to resurrect your character. It's just, it is what it is. Resurrection was purposely left for the higher levels because, after you've been playing your character for a while, you might want to not lose him. But, okay. So that's where that sits as far as resurrection spells. Okay, so all right. So as we go along with that, another question is, can you explain death and life saving rules? All right. So your character gets hit, goes into the zeros. Okay, he's at -1, let's say, damage, or -3, whatever it is. The next round, unless somebody uses a spell to put you or heals you enough to get you back to 0 or more. Basically, as you're unconscious. You're not really dying. You're unconscious. It's not until you start bleeding out at the -1, -2 kind of thing that you're starting to die. But there's a lot of spare the dying is one spell that can keep you going. There's other spells that you can just use a medical kit, a medicine kit, a healer's kit to break you back to 0. So now you're unconscious. But let's say none of that can happen right now because the combat's just going. Or they just haven't noticed, whatever the case may be. So when it comes back around to your turn, you'll take a D20 and you roll it. Okay, I rolled a 3. Oh boy. So now I have a death. I've missed one of my my death saves. Okay, so I get X. Now here's the thing. Hey Willie, that's my brother up in New York. He's hearing me. Sometimes he's busy driving and or at work, but he goes ahead and listens. Thank you for coming on the show, brother. Christina's here and Laser Stan is here. So we got a small show today, but that's okay. I know a lot of people told me they were going to be working and wouldn't be able to attend. So, so you make, I missed my first one. Okay, so the whole round goes by and it comes back to me, and no one has gotten me back to unconscious or better. So I got to roll again. Oh boy, it's 16. So now I saved. All right, now I've made it, and I'm going to show you. Actually, I am going to show you. Let me see. I got the player's handbook right here, as always. I'm actually going to show you on your sheet, because on sheets it's actually a place that you record this as it happens. Okay, so here we are. This is a basic standard character sheet, and right here, next to your hit points, is a box with 3 little circles in it. One says life saves, success. It says death saves, success, failures. So the idea is to try to get the 3 life saves before successes before you have failures. Okay, so right now my character's at 1 and 1. Now the big change in that one is that the 1 is unfortunately being a 1 and always causes you to miss, to fail a lot of times. It's 2 death saves, which is what happened at Gentleman's character in my one of my campaigns. Here he rolled a low score, and they rolled a 1. Boom, dead. So, but by the same token, 2 20s, a 20 is 2 instant saves, and you're back at 0, which is really neat. So it goes back around. Now I'm gonna make my next roll. Okay, okay. Look at that, another 16. So now I have 2 successes and I have 1 failure. Hopefully before I have to make that next one, someone will see me there bleeding out, and will come and heal me or at least get me back to unconscious. But if they don't, and I have to go to another round, which is now my 4th roll, so I've got two successes. And I've got 1, and there we go. Okay, so we're back. We are back. Anyway, so you see how that works out. That's actually how that works. Your goal is to get more successes and failures quickly, or to get somebody to heal you so you're back at unconscious. Now, another part of this was, can monsters cause insta death or prevent saving throws. No, I don't know of any monsters that can. Well, the insta death thing is a rule that yes, if a creature causes traumatic damages, I think is what they call it, of what is it, 3 or 4 times the amount of damage, 2 or 3, double the amount of hit points that you have in any one blow, then yeah, or something like that. And I say something like that because I don't use that rule. I don't insta kill anyone. I will always usually, let me tell you about a dungeon master, especially with star characters. I mean, he didn't care. So he was like, he thought it was a really cool part of the story. That's not a big deal. But I usually will not instant kill or really try to kill a character off unless it's something that they wanted, which I have done because it was just what with the storyline, the character, they kind of got tired of the character, didn't really want to play him anymore, wanted to try something new. So we arranged, in the big battle, I brought out a creature that everybody together could kill, but that kind of caught him by surprise and attacked him, and they got into it, and really everybody else was tied up with other creatures. Somebody was trying to help him, but it was basically just trying to kill him, and it killed him. And they killed the creature afterwards, but as a group, but it killed him, and he was okay with that. It was a real, he had weakened it enough to where another blow from a couple players, boom, and it was dead. So it was kind of like a heroic, hey, I'm going to take this until you guys are able to help. Kind of keep them off the party, kind of thing. And so we did. It was really neat. But other than that, I don't use the Insta Death, and I don't know of any creatures that prevent saving throws. I mean, unless something's come out, and I'm not going to tell you that I know every creature in the multiverse. I get it, the multiverse, but I don't know every single monster because there's always new monsters coming out. There's with abilities and such, but I've never run across one. I've never used one. I would never use it anyway. I'm just going to tell you, as a game master, kind of takes the fun out of it. That putting people in impossible situations that are just lead to death is just. I like to always linger. What is it? The thought of death over their heads, and if they die because of their own actions, that's something totally out of my hands. An orc can kill you. That's all there is to it. Every creature is capable of killing you. It depends on, are you smart enough to retreat? There's a time you just got to retreat, and sometimes the party at home did that. They were caught in a situation where the monster was constantly getting reinforced, so they were able to stop the attack for a bit, and they got away and went and reinforced the room, and they were able to recover. They lost them in the maze and were able to recover. So, good stuff like that. You got to know when to say when. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. There's Ariana. Come out and say hi. Oh, there she is.
Hi, everyone. It's me again.
It's her again.
It's me again.
One of our game masters on Wednesday nights. As in, all about her. If you don't, then go back a couple shows and you will. Look at that. So that's that. Then as far as some people will even sometimes create secondary characters just in case their character dies. In smaller games, actually, it's funny because in the smaller games where you only have like maybe a couple players, but you want to be able to, you'll fill in those characters. You'll let them design 2 characters. And as the game kind of progresses, these characters going up at the same time, they may have to choose between one and the other, make one an NPC or kind of retire them. Or sometimes you'll get I want to do a heroic death kind of thing, which is kind of cool. That can be written into the story. I mean, you are the game master. So you can do those kind of things. It's a lot of fun. So I think that I pretty much answered all the questions there. I believe I did. And then, this is kind of important. It kind of goes with this in a way. Something about basically the question is, what is a good balanced party that can keep characters from dying? That can keep characters from dying. Well, if you're all clerics, that might help out. No, I'm just kidding. And that's usually a character creation kind of thing that I talk about at character creation, but I can see where this is going. I think that who I got this from, their party was lacking any kind of healing except I think for a druid who really hadn't taken it, really didn't understand the game and had like one cure spell. So I understand where that question is coming from. All right, so when you create a group of adventurers, I'm sorry, I'm thinking the perfect combination of characters to keep the party from dying. I don't think there is such a thing. I think that there's really good characters that synergize well with each other because of their skills, but it depends on what your ultimate goal is with the characters. I mean, if you just want to hack and slash, you might want a lot of healers. If there's a lot more role playing involved, you kind of cut back on that. But the perfect, oh wow. Well, I always think that having a cleric along is always a good idea. At least one, even if you just have one, and a healing kit does wonders for keeping people from dying. So that would be good. And let me think. Druids are good. I mean, druids can help you stay alive a little longer because they have healing spells also. In fact, now that there's a healing spell that you can do from, I think, 30, 60 feet away. Oh my gosh, I just trying to remember every spell. I mean, of course, healing word. Yeah. Does a 1d4 plus your stat. So that helps out a lot. Even the bards, I think even bards can have that spell at first level. So there's a lot of ways. And sometimes you just have to have a dedicated healer. Invest in some healing potions, healing scrolls, healing spell scrolls. And I know at first level you may not be able to, but this is a great moment for role playing. And this kind of leads to keeping your party alive. Okay, so if you don't have a lot of healing power in your group, let's say, there's nothing to keep you from, when you sit down, someone is asking you to go on this adventure. Usually, I mean, you might just up and say, "Hey, let's build an adventuring group, go adventuring." Cool, but even in that instance, there's a way of role playing to where you can go somewhere. Someone's got to be being terrorized by whatever's going on. But usually, when you get hired to do something, they pay you something, right? And sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes it's about the equipment that you can get your hands on. You wanted this sword, but it wasn't in your starting package. But this is really what you want. You want a dual wield 2 short swords, but you only got one in your package, or you only got a long sword. So why not? Short swords don't really cost a lot. This guy's offering you, let's say, 50 gold to go do whatever it is you're going to do. But what if instead you sat there and said, well, I really would appreciate, instead of a monetary, I'd like to take some of that in equipment up front, because you always want some upfront equipment, money to buy equipment and sundries and potions, whatever else. They might have access to someone, say, okay, well, you know what? If you go here, just give them my name, and they'll give you really good prices. Or they might say, well, very well, here's this, so you can go buy them. That's one way. But just by the same token, you can say, we would love to do this for you, but alas, our healer isn't here. He was unable to make the trip. But if instead of monetary recompense, you could see your way to speaking with the local church and possibly getting us, or temple or whatever, and getting us a few healing potions, that would be great, more greatly appreciated at this point. Wow. Or perhaps a healing scroll or whatever. You never know. They might give you a couple potions or a scroll and a potion, combination thereof. If your character has a chance to get a healing kit, grab that sucker, whether it's in your background or whether it's a part of your kit that you get at the beginning. Put your money together. Listen, you're an adventuring party. You got to help each other out. Scrape together whatever it is you got. In the worst case scenario, you start out with X amount of gold, right? Scrape all those gold pieces together and go to a local merchant or to the church or something and and talk to someone and say, hey, look, we're low. We don't have a lot of healing. Is there any way that you can help us? We're going to go out on this adventure to help the town, to help the church, to help the local noble, to the mayor, whoever. And unfortunately, we don't have but this amount of funds. What can you help us? Help you kind of thing. You know, there's a lot of way of approaching it. That's a role playing. And I know I'm kind of deviating the role playing session, but death is a very interesting. Getting beat up on an adventure is going to happen. No matter what your armor class and no matter how great you swing that sword, you're gonna get hit. It's just like in anything else, you know. The greatest fighters get hit. It's just gonna happen. You swing enough times and you're gonna get hit. And when you do, you got to be able to find a way to heal yourself. Hey, there's William Sam Quinn. How are you, sir? Doing good, doing good. Good to see you. How's everything been over at your end? But yeah, so there's a lot of things that you can do with role playing that, you know, and the DM may not even be thinking about that sometimes with the healing, and you know, he hasn't really thought that through and doesn't realize that you're missing. Good. Being busy is good, sir. Being busy is good. We've been running around like chickens without our heads ourselves. We got all kinds of cool stuff going on over here. But it's good to see you back on. It's good to see you. So going back to that, think outside the box. You know, try to get those potions. Try to get those scrolls if you got somebody who can read them. You know, another thing you can do, you get all that gold. Remember I was talking about that starting gold? It's not a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's not like you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of gold pieces. But you could always approach the mayor, if there's an adventuring guild, the tavern, and look for a cleric. And go, look, hey, we're an adventuring group. We're going to go out to such and such. We're doing some work for the mayor, the local nobility, the village, the town elder, whatever. And we would like to procure your services. Here's what we have to offer you. We'll give you a full share of the findings. There you go. It gives your DM the opportunity to create your NPC. And you may go, okay. You know, if that's what you're looking for, let me see if the one's available. There you go. They got a first level cleric. He's an NPC. He may only be with you for now, or who knows? He may like it and stick around. You don't know. But that's a lot of ways to keep from dying when you're first starting out. And even if your party's missing a little bit of healing power, all right? Let's see. That was really about it. Yeah, I don't have a lot more to say about dying because it's not a fun topic. But if you should happen to die, look, just create a new character. Talk to your DM and see what their policy is on characters dying and coming back that session. Whether you come back as an NPC or just, you know, meet them in the dungeon or a venturing party that was ahead of them, that kind of thing. And know going into it what's going to happen. That's the best way to do it. I think. I kind of gave you a lot of generalized things, but as I said, it's up to each individual game master. I don't talk for them. To me, there's, you know, it's like everything else. There's no only right way to do things. It's a game. A bunch of guidelines that Gary Gygax and Arneson and his brother Ernie came up with to have fun with. And there you go. And like he says, these are only guidelines to have fun with. So do that. Keep having fun. If you die, it's all good because as long as a finger survives, you can you can always come back. Oh, there's a couple of my characters. My friend Billy says that a lot. Don't worry, I'll cut an ear off or a toe off and take it back to the church and I'll get you resurrected. It's a great concept, guys. But anyway, that's all I got for you. There's a lot of cool stuff, like I said, that has been restocked. Hey, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. And you got to come and get it while it's here. I am definitely going to grab one of the multi-packs again because I love those. I always wait for them to come in, and Brendan does a real good job of getting them back in. It's the basic. Little Matt put it down, you know. I get the multi-pack because I love having the 4 boards I can flip over. And I get to draw on them. I love drawing them. I showed you guys the little keep that I drew with the crayon marker stuff. And I love doing that. And that's a permanent thing that the players are probably going to base themselves out of. So that's what these mats are good for. That's why I keep running out of them. I build stuff that they're going to keep, and I build like a little village on them. And I don't want to give the village after I drew it. I don't want to get rid of it, so I keep it. So I keep running out of the basic mats. But that's okay. Got to support your local game store. All right, and we talked about the Game Master core set, the Dungeons and Caverns, and the Ruins and Cliff set, which is really neat if you want to build your own terrain. Of course, we talked about the Neothelid from the Monsters of the Multiverse, which is really cool. I mean, hey, that is like a worm for the ages. And then, of course, the giant red dragon miniature. Oh, that's so cool. I'm telling you that these miniatures that they've come out with are simply amazing. You've seen Tiamat. I've shown Tiamat on the show before. The green dragon, the blue dragon. I try to show them as they come out. The sapphire dragon was amazing. I bought one of those the first day it came out. In fact, you know what? I don't even use him yet. I have him in a display case to show off because he's beautiful. You put a light underneath it, and that blue it's just awesome. It's just awesome. And I really enjoy them. Sometimes I have them just as a showpiece. Sometimes I insert them in the game. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to insert this red dragon into a game at first level yet. They got to be a little tougher, maybe like third or fourth level. Just kidding. Oh my gosh. Oh, but you know, talking about dragons, I'll leave you with this. When I first started playing Dungeons and Dragons way back in the day, I remember that, you know, back then there was no really scaling of creatures. So we were first level. It was the first time, my first game literally, and we turned left at a hallway because I'm left-handed. So they said, which way you want to turn? I'll turn left. Okay. So what do? There's a door on your left and there's a door on your right. And what did we do? I'm left-handed, so I went left. And then drawn out a dungeon and just put monsters in. I mean, back then you could find orcs with undead, and right over here there was a gelatinous cube, and right here, you know, so it was just a hodgepodge kind of thing because everybody was just starting out learning how to play. And we turned into that room and we went in, and it was dark, and ran into a dragon and dead. Oh my gosh. Back then, you know, a D6 was everything. You had D6 hit points. You had D6 damage with the rocks. A branch, a two-handed sword, didn't matter. And D6 got us. That dragon ate us, and we were like, okay, let's try this again. So we turned right. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. Even to this day, I still love it. It's so funny. But anyway, may the road always rise up to meet your feet. Thank you for being here. May all your adventures be successful. And as always, I'll see you next Friday here at the Collective in South Palm Springs, Florida for John's Dungeon Corner. And don't forget, it's John's, JOHNS, DC 2021 at gmail.com. All right? Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you next week. Take care. And I'm going to try to get this off now. You just got to be smart in the equipment you're working with, I think, in the end. So I'm working on it. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to the show and jumping on board with me here. Oh, my gosh, it won't go off. I guess I'm stuck being on the show. All right, guys. Looks like the show's going to be here a little longer. Let me see if I can get this to work out properly. Oh, dear. Oh, there we go. It's kind of hard to sometimes end it. It jumps around. The mouse is a little cray-cray. Here we go. All right. Take care, everyone.